Hi, and welcome to another episode of White Claw. We're not sponsored, but I'm gonna give it a go.
Oh, in 5D.
5D.
God, I can't imagine 5 dimensions of White Claw.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit weird. Uh,
The one that they have isn't very good.
to be fair, though, the shout out to one of our D&D homies. We're not gonna say his name because doxing is a thing, but he swears by them, and he's kind of gangsta.
Yeah, he has a little more street cred than you or I do.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I've gone soft. The days I
Yeah,
had street cred are far behind me.
yeah, that's fair.
But
I'm
yeah,
not hip
so
anymore.
he swears by them. So like I said earlier, since you're not drinking, I'm not drinking.
Yeah, if I seem extra grouchy for the next couple of episodes, I'm doing a sober January. Not for any like everybody's been so concerned. Like I've seriously told like I feel like, oh, I'm doing sober January. Like, what's wrong? And I'm like, it's just like a healthy
Just
thing
just be that
you
guy.
can
The
do.
easiest way to get rid of them is say, "Oh, it's a New Year's thing."
But it's not it that's not what it is. I
No,
did it last year too. It's
no,
just generally a good idea to like not fuck up your body all the time. That's all it is.
I understand this. You understand this, but most folks who reply with, "Oh, is everything okay?" probably don't make that connection.
I'm just gonna start saying I have butt cancer.
Yeah, I mean that'll also help them, but then they'll want to send like casseroles, and it'll be a whole thing.
It's just so like, and I'm a little like I drink, but I'm hardly an alcoholic or something. And people are like, ah,
I
pull it
feel
back,
like everyone still
pull it back.
has that idea of us back when we were fucking 15 years, no, 10 years ago, right? When we were much younger and much more willing to go to the bar.
Yeah, but like, yeah, like what 21-year-old with a halfway decent job isn't drinking and partying a little bit more than they should?
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
it's a thing that we did. I'm not gonna lie, I do miss going to the bars. I don't feel like I'd ever go four times a week like I used to at one point. That
Yeah.
was them
That's
were the days.
say what you want about like beer culture, hipster culture, Portland, whatever. There is a total vibe difference in going to a brewery than going to a bar.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
It's
sure.
hitting a brewery, I can be there for like 2 or 3 hours, have a few beers and a conversation, maybe play a board game. A bar, I don't think you and I ever left without having like 10
There's no reason to go to a
ish.
bar if you're not gonna get drunk. Like, what
Right,
is
like
the point?
that's for me. Bars
There's
just feel like
nothing
where you
else
go if you're
there.
trying to get
Well,
wasted.
because there's nothing else there. Well, you're not
Right,
there for the fucking good music that they're blaring on their cheap ass sound systems, right?
or like they're weird, half-made in a what they can legally refer to as a kitchen food.
Oh yeah, yeah. I ate a shit ton of that food. I'm not even
Oh, so
sorry,
did I. Yeah.
dude. I have been to some
That's
of.
why I need that's why I need to do sober January now is I'm just still working that shit out.
Yeah. So I get it. I get it. All right. Before we launch into the next part of our Star Wars, we're watching the whole thing.
Armistice
Review.
over. The wars are continuing.
Correct. Before that, you're going to be ashamed of me, but I have a quasi good reason why I did it. I went back and started playing the Assassin's Creed series again.
So I'm just gonna tune out for the next couple minutes then.
No, no. I'm just going to do a quick review of Origin. Not even like a full review because I'm not done with it.
Now, which is the one where like it was pretty universally panned, jumped the shark, people were pissed at that one. There was one in particular that most fans are like ruined the series. Is that Origin?
I think that was either. It's tough because it was either the one in France, which was Unity, or it
Oh,
was.
maybe it was. I remember because it wasn't like a numbered one. It was a name like
Yeah.
Unity, Origin, Fellatio Mike. I don't know, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck it
yeah.
was
So
called.
it was either Unity or it was oh, what was there was one in London. I think Syndicate was the name of that one. So I imagine it's one of those because I actually dropped off halfway through Unity. It was so bugged that I
Oh,
could
I'm see. At least according to the first couple of Googles I brought up, it looks like Odyssey is the one that really lost people.
Oh wow, again. Okay, so I guess this is the newest time. I'm playing the one right before that one.
Okay.
So in the holidays, they busted out Odyssey, Origin Odyssey, and Valhalla, the PS4 version with
That's
an
the new
upgrade
one,
to the
right?
PS5 version, digital. That whole pack for like $50.
So is that's that okay, just the amount of games you get, that's actually a really good price. Like I don't love not a fan of the games. That's a good
Yeah,
price.
especially with one of the newer games being
Is
included.
which is the ones with Ezio?
Oh, that is
ECIO?
Assassin's Creed 2. Yeah, two and a half, which was actually fucking fantastic. So Ezio's whole run was probably so far the best. So like you had the first one, and that one was just right. Like it was tough. It was hard to get through. For the time, it was innovative for the time, but it really wasn't your type of game, and it had so many playable issues that I can't go back and play it now.
Wow. Okay.
Two was where it. I think that's where you start the story of Ezio Auditore, which is the Renaissance Italy. But that was so well received, and that story was so well done that it was really just took over. They made another game, and then they even made a multiplayer thing. Just some spin-offs.
The thread I was looking at, and sorry for not crediting it. I already closed the window, but the thread I was looking at, they were basically having like Ezio was the last good solid character run, though they claimed his last game wasn't great, and now everything is quote sailing bullshit.
Yeah. So here's the problem. Assassin's Creed 3.
So is the one you're playing is the sailing bullshit? Because I'm sure Valhalla probably isn't, right?
No, there's sailing in it. Like it's in fucking ancient Egypt. There wasn't very much sailing except on some lakes and rivers. That's all.
Okay.
Right. Like there isn't that much. But the other one, Black Flag, was the first one that introduced a lot of the sailing, and it was fucking fantastic because you could basically do pirate battles, right? It was great.
I love that you're selling me on a feature you know you can't sell me on.
Oh, I'm just talking about how cool it was. Not that I'm telling you to play it.
Yeah. I know. I get you. You're using words and you're like, I'm not going to oversell this because he's not going to like it either way. You're just like, this is it. What we got.
Yeah, it's cool. And then they did, but the problem was at that point the story was just kind of eh. Like I couldn't tell you what the story of that dude was. His name was Edward something. Because what happened after Assassin's Creed?
His name was Edward Yusin.
So Assassin's Creed 3 finished the full story technically, because there were always two stories. There was the assassin story in the past, and then the assassin in the future. And
the guy and the robot.
Sort of, yeah. Not a robot, but yeah, VR basically.
It's a robot.
Sure. Robot made of digital parts.
Yeah.
Anyways, so with 3, they kind of end it. Like, because the world was coming to an end, they needed to do a thing, and a big spoiler, the guy in the future dies. And they were like, oh, well, is he going to be revered as a savior? Is he going to revere this and that? There were like other little quasi-endings. But then with the next one, they were just like, yeah, that still happened, but what? Just because he saved the world, that means that there's no more stories to be told? Like, these these Templars and Assassins are still going at it. These are more stories in that universe, more ventures into the past, more battles in the past. So now, with Origin, it's, I'm guessing the foundation of either the Templars or the Assassins, because it's in, like, ancient Egypt. Way back when.
And you're not a guy in a machine this time?
You're an archaeologist in a machine inside. They were able to abstract the DNA from a mummy, so you're inside an Egyptian dude.
This is the weirdest insert. Like, no one who hasn't played these games is aware that you're dude in a machine. None of the commercials let you know that you're a dude in a machine. None of the advertisements or magazine inserts. It feels like this weird sci-fi plot that they're like, we're sticking to this. And really, truly, I feel like you could let it go and just be like, this is just actually in the past. And these are just people actually fighting or whatever,
Sure.
and the audience would accept it.
I'm sure the problem is that the series started as a sci-fi fantasy. It's like it's actually science fiction fantasy. It's so weird.
So weird. It makes no fucking like they didn't need to put that hat on the hat.
But it felt like, at least in the beginning, it felt like they had a story to tell. It was new. It was innovative. It was a story that hadn't been told before. They took a theory, which is a whole like genetic memory thing.
What was the movie on the train where he had to die and keep going back to fix
I'm
it?
pretty sure this was before that.
What was that movie?
It was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Was it Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes,
Look up
it
Jake
was.
Gyllenhaal.
And it wasn't Live Die Repeat. That's a different one.
No, it was not Live Die Repeat. Though that one is good. It's based on a manga.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I do like that.
By the way, this White Claw just really tastes like a Mike's Hard that's been watered down. So, not a huge fan, but I'm gonna drink it because who wastes a tall can?
Oh no, I didn't want to. Hold on, I'm still looking this up because I have to know what this. I have to know which one came first because like that movie was definitely a thing on a train.
But I feel
Jake
like...
Gyllenhaal on a train movie. It's called Source Code.
Yes,
it's from 2011.
Oh yeah. I think Assassin's Creed, the first one, came out before that. No,
that's what I'm looking up. We'll find out. Okay, the first release was 2007.
Boom.
3 years before. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So it was fresh. The story
Yes.
was fresh. And then the fact that you were able to play both in the future and in the past, I thought was really interesting because it kept me in. Because there's a bunch of parts that I just don't give a shit about. Like if this was a D&D game, I don't want to fight with swords and shit. Like I don't give a fuck. Like, I want a gun. Or whatever, but not a normal gun. I actually prefer space guns. It's a whole thing. I'm not even.
You want a gun that shoots guns that shoots swords?
Yeah,
made of guns.
Well, the reason Borderlands, like the reason I liked it so much was the guns were basically fucking fake. Like none of them acted like real guns and all that. So like I don't play modern combat and all that because I did that in real life and I'm like I just don't want to.
Don't need that.
No. So yeah, so like give me Halo. Fucking you and your space guns. I'm sold. Fantasy stuff. I enjoy it. I don't hate it, but not my favorite. Anyways, so Origins seems like an entire departure from the series, the original series, in a way that I think you might not hate, Devin, but not because. So here's the thing. It's no longer
claim.
It's no, so they've done all kinds of shit. They basically removed the whole Eagle Vision thing. Remember that? Like everybody was like, "Oh, this is a thing." They made the fighting completely different. It's no longer you just sneak behind someone and you assassinate. You actually have to do a little bit more timing, and it's a lot more hack and slash. Not really stamina. So they overhauled the entire fighting system. Also, they took out the minimap.
Why?
I don't know. I guess they're trying to say that in the past you don't have superpowers like that. I have no idea, but no minimap. And they added weapons, and you can upgrade your weapons, and you can do all kinds of shit. They had added a version of that in Unity, but they've really refined it. So now, like, you find different weapons, and you can craft shit, you can upgrade shit. It's a lot more RPG now. You also level up. And you get different skills. So again, it feels like an entirely different game.
So any game that makes you do a lot of stealth automatically, like I'm less interested in. I'm just not good at stealth, and I don't enjoy doing it. But the real killer, and I've said it before on this show, my real killer for the first Assassin's Creed, I think I maybe played the first Assassin's Creed game for 6 to 10 hours, somewhere in that. And honestly, there were only so many times I could run up a wall and stab a guy so that I could run up a wall and stab a guy and then run up a wall and stab a guy and then the next mission run up a wall and stab a guy. Well, that gameplay was so fucking repetitive.
So in this game, you can go both. You can do stealth or you can go loud. Loud is harder, obviously, because you're going to alert things and more people are going to come at you. But if you basically want to play on hard mode, fucking go for it. I like the story. I think the stories are compelling enough. I will say sometimes they stretch the plot out quite a bit on some of these quests, but I don't hate it. But then again, I like the Ubisoft type games, and people seem to be getting tired of it. That like open world sandbox, main quests, side quests. I think
the only modern Ubisoft game I play is South Park ones, the Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole. I like. Let me look up what their most recent, because like I don't play Just Cause.
I love Just Cause.
Yeah, do you know what killed Just Cause for me? All of the fucking videos of everybody doing stupid shit on the internet with Just Cause. God, it's so. I strapped this thing to this thing. Watch it launch. I shot this thing with a rope. Watch it get like. It was cool a couple of times, and now I'm like, this game does not look fun. This just looks
actually
dumb.
To be fair though, I don't think you'd like Just Cause because there's a lot of driving.
Oh, gross. Yeah, I'm out. So let's see. They do Assassin's Creed. I don't play that series. They did Watch Dogs. I don't play that series. I didn't try Immortals Phoenix Rising. I don't do Just Dance. I don't do Rainbow Six. I like the Scott Pilgrim game. That one's great. I don't do Prince of Persia. I don't do Far Cry. I don't like Far Cry at all. I don't do Ghost Recon. I don't do any of the Tom Clancy's. Let's just.
What was the last Far Cry you played? 3, right?
2?
Okay.
1 or 2?
You might want to give 3 a try. It was fantastic.
It just looks like Fallout.
No, it's first person survival-esque. It's basically, it takes a survival game and then pulls it back in the sense of like, you don't necessarily starve. You do have to hunt and craft things to upgrade your bow. It's very Horizon-y. Like, it feels like Horizon had a lot of inspiration coming from this, just from the hunt mechanics. But yeah, it's not bad, dude.
Yeah, not interested.
I really liked it. I thought it was a pretty solid game. Plus, it's got a really good story. At least Far Cry 3.
I used to really love FPS, and now I don't play. Like, I like Borderlands. I like Doom. And then I like the co-op flood mode ones that we play online.
Yeah.
And that's really all I play for FPS.
I mean, I thought it was well done because all the multiplayer, it was single player FPS. It was none of that multiplayer bullshit that you really get.
Fallout.
Yeah, sure, but Fallout is a lot more, actually, to be fair. I've only played Fallout 3 and on, so what I was about to say didn't really apply.
Didn't you play 4?
3 and 4, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played Fallout 3 and 4. 4 I've never finished.
That's because it's terrible.
Yeah. And then I never even tried their MMO. I was like, no thanks.
Yeah,
this is
also terrible.
I'm like, this game is hard enough to get through by myself without other people around to fuck it up.
Did you do New Vegas?
I didn't even do 2, no.
No, New Vegas is 3.5.
Oh, I thought it was 2.5. Well, then I guess I've only ever played 4. Have I never played 3?
Yeah, I didn't think. That's what I was saying. I don't think you played 3. I'm pretty sure you only played 4.
Oh, shit. Well, then when did they do the house crafting stuff?
Yeah, that's 4.
Okay, so that's the only one I played, so my opinion doesn't matter on the subject.
Yeah, that's the. A lot of people swear by New Vegas too. I'll be honest. I've never finished New Vegas. It just felt like it was just more Fallout 3, which was fun when I first tried it, but
everybody
I prefer
swears
Fallout
that
1 and 2.
Fallout New Vegas is better than Fallout 3.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the best one, and like I've restarted it 2 or 3 times, and I just can't finish it. I think I played too much Fallout 3 to where I'm now I'm like, this isn't different enough to feel like a new game. So it just feels like I'm playing the same game I just played.
That's how it felt after Far Cry 3, honestly. Because Far Cry 1 and 2 were their own kind of thing. But Far Cry, yep.
You know what I did play was the Far Cry Blood Dragon or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Hated it.
Oh my god, me too.
It was so bad.
No weapon would shoot where I was aiming.
That's because there was no reticle.
It was terrible.
Yeah, hated it.
Like Blood Dragon, everybody swore by that fucking. Oh my god, this is why we're friends. We just hate things.
Oh, it was so bad.
Everybody swore by it, and I was like, all right, I'll pick it up. It seems fun. I like the aesthetic,
Yeah.
but I couldn't fucking get past the first like couple missions because I'm like, where am I shooting? I don't want to Kentucky windage this whole goddamn game. This is bullshit.
Yeah, no. Hated it. Hated that game.
Yeah.
Unplayable.
But anyways, so 3 changed the Far Cry game. It was really kind of a reworking of it, and it was fantastic. And then 4 and all these other ones just felt like
Here's that reskinned.
Yeah, pretty much.
They Bethesda'd it.
Here's a new story. Here you go. The Assassin's Creed for a while started feeling that way, but anyways, I'm playing Origin. I'm probably gonna play Odyssey and then Valhalla just to play these last 3 in order. I might go back and play Unity and Syndicate. I don't know, man. This game has softened me on the Assassin's Creed series, but pissed me off so many times with their no minimap. I just fucking hate it. And their combat system, I swear to God, it's a lot more combat than I'm used to in an Assassin's Creed game. And for me, that's a bad thing. So I'm getting used to it. I'm sucking right now. But anywho.
And you know which one killed me by not having a good mini-map? The Darkness game.
Oh
I still love the Darkness one, but dear Lord, how do you not? Especially like they're like, oh, you have to go to the cross of this street and this street, and I'm like, well, where the fuck is that? I'm not paying attention to the street names.
Yeah, wasn't that
There's no map.
There was a map, but you had to like not mini map.
There was a map that you can open up, but it didn't tell you where you currently were.
No.
Or where you were going. It was literally just like a map. And you were
terrible.
like, oh, okay, I guess I'll find where stuff is.
How old is that game at this point?
Is that 360 or is that original Xbox? I want to say it's 360.
360 for sure, but that's 2 console generations.
Oh, yeah. And 2 did add in a mini map. Let me see.
Well, I hated how mediocre 2 was.
2007.
Yeah, it's an old game.
2, yeah. I mean, it was mediocre, but I don't know. I still liked it. It was playable.
I liked it, but it wasn't as good as the first one. They did creature improvements.
Well, dude, okay, so the time between 1 and 2, 2007, 2012.
Jesus.
They waited a minute to release that.
Yeah, I know. I really liked the fucking first one.
Yeah.
It was done really well. And the second one felt like they tried to go a little bit more of the shooter aspect, and I was like, that's not what this game's about. Give me more minion control stuff.
And then you got Overlord.
Yeah, I do love Overlord. I've been replaying 2. It's harder than you think.
I keep wanting to play 2 because I own it on Steam, but I want to refinish 1, and then I make it part of the way through 1, and I'm like, I'm having to try too hard for my investment in this story.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with me. So I went to play 2, and now I'm feeling the same.
Yeah, like fun, interesting games, and for the time were great. But now I'm just like, man, this is a lot of effort. This isn't what I'm here for.
Yeah, and sometimes if a game's too hard, it's not that I don't enjoy a challenge. It's that if it just takes me 3 or 4 times to do a simple thing, I'm like, I'm just out, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm just, I'm at that point in my life where I can admit that, I'm not good at this. I'm done.
And not even that. Like, yeah, there's shit that I'm just like, I guess I'm just not really great at this. But like things like Indigo Prophecy or Heavy Rain, I'm like, it's a lot of work. If I want
Heavy Rain, I really wanted to like Heavy Rain and I couldn't get into it. Could not.
I beat it, but it was a stretch. It was really hard.
So we're a little before that halfway point. We haven't even made it to our main topic.
I know, but I'm stalling for a reason. So fine, let's talk about some Star Wars.
We had with you watching a movie and a half, we have to have at least half an episode worth.
No, I know. That's what I'm just. So I finished Jedi, and I am about halfway through Awakens, and I'm actually liking Awakens a little bit more than I did the first time. But I am finding some things where I'm just like, why?
Well, start with Jedi. Let's do this in order.
For sure.
Start with Jedi.
Jedi is still my favorite.
Really?
Only
over Empire? Wow.
If we're talking about like which one's a better movie, then Empire's a better movie. If we're talking about which one I like more, it's Jedi.
Is it because of the Ewoks?
No, that's actually my least favorite part.
Are you just like bears?
Ooh. No, no, especially so when I was a kid, these were some of the first few movies I saw that weren't in Spanish. Ghostbusters, these movies, like very not sheltered childhood, but very Spanish focused media childhood. Okay. So Return of the Jedi, like I didn't like Empire. I was that young because Empire was the one about the bad guys. No, not scared. It was just like that's the one about the bad guys. They win. So, you know, in my narrow field of view when I was a kid, it was like, you know, good guys win, bad guys lose. So Jedi was my favorite. And that was also when Luke finally really started to show his powers. And I fucking love superheroes. And that was a huge part of that as a kid. So I like Jedi the most. But I will say, the acting isn't as good. The CGI does not hold up.
Well, no, the CGI is added.
Okay, so the speeder chases.
The speeder chases are digitally enhanced.
Ugh.
You can no longer purchase versions of Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 that are not digitally enhanced. The only way to see truly original versions are on VHS or Laserdisc. Or some other Betamax outdated platform.
Gross.
Anything DVD, Blu-ray, or streaming is all digitally enhanced.
I don't get it, man. Like
it doesn't look as good.
No, not at all.
That is a big White Claw. It's not even like you had to like specifically go, I'd like a White Claw. Would you like the normal amount of White Claw? No, sir.
Well, no.
I would like more White Claw than is recommended.
So the problem was that here I was at the grocery store, and it was either buy a pack of White Claw or the tall can of White Claw. And since I wasn't ready to commit to a pack of White Claw, I got the tall can.
That's fair.
I'm just saying.
Go on.
Booze logic. I will say Vader's a little bit more of a badass in this.
Yeah.
Where I always felt like in A New Hope, he was kind of a bitch. In The Empire, that's where he starts like blocking the bolter and shit like that. And this one, like, he feels like more of a badass.
They had a budget.
Yeah, they had a budget. And I also got to say that the shots still make sense. Like, it's a well-filmed movie.
Yeah.
Like the actors placing the lighting, they do a lot of light play. Where if you notice, especially in the throne room scene, Luke tends to be lit up a whole lot more. Where Vader, they're trying to keep that, and the Emperor.
Which they bring back a lot of the lighting in 7, 8, and 9. All 3 of those movies do a lot of light play, which I was like, thank you.
Okay,
1, 2, and 3 abandoned most of that shit.
Yeah, because it was all mostly CGI, so there was very little light play to be had.
Right. The more you play with, the more it's dark, the harder it is to make these characters work in these scenes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of funny. So I will say that was really good. It's just shot well. I felt that the side characters had a little less to do, which I didn't notice.
Who are the side characters to you?
So I would say Lando had a lot less to do in this one. Chewie, like not the main 3. I'm kind of happy that 3PO just got to shut the fuck up a lot, except for the Ewok scene. I don't like the Ewok scene.
My wife actually walked away this time going like, you know who I really found out I hated was 3PO.
Same. Her and I just realized the same fucking thing. I really don't fucking like him, especially if you start watching it from the beginning, all the way from the first part.
Yeah.
Episode 1. Like, yeah, there's no need why you had to be obnoxious the whole goddamn time.
Yeah, 3PO's a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, and by how much that actor was all snooty about playing 3PO, I'm like,
Yeah, Anthony
y'all,
Daniels.
y'all bitches deserve each other. Although I believe he passed recently, so White
Did
Claws.
Anthony Daniels pass? I know R2 passed.
Oh, did I get this wrong?
I legitimately just don't know. He is not dead.
Oh,
He's 74, so I mean, give it time, but
ouch.
not not
Okay,
not
well,
currently dead.
I take that back. He's alive.
Yeah. Peter Mayhew died. Chewbacca.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's sad. That's sad. But all right, so Jedi highlights. I honestly, Mark Hamill. I feel like he's in it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, just trying to like articulate the thought of like it's two where he did his party boy thing and got into his car accident right before, and now he's got the scar, and we had to have the Wampa scene. So I feel like by three, he's like, well, I'm making my nut on these movies. I am kind of a nerdy dude. Where yeah, he's refocused. Where I feel like Carrie Fisher for this one, a lot of glassy eyed shots of Carrie Fisher. Love Carrie Fisher, and actually, she does have some more scenes in this one, and I'm glad for it. Carrie Fisher seems a little under the influence, in my opinion.
I actually was gonna say I felt like I got less emotion from her. Like when she gets told that they're brother and sister, she's just like, cool.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's not a she totally like mouth kissed this guy a handful of months ago, and now she's just like, oh, shouldn't have did that.
yeah.
All right, like
So there's
no
that.
big deal, whatever.
I will say that the solo performance is spot on. It's good. He's a little less. I don't know. I would say less roguelike. He's a little bit more stiff in this one. At least the characterization of Solo.
Hamill? Oh, Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's settling into his position.
As a general and
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So I don't know if that was him settling down or what they were trying to portray, but I will say that while Harrison Ford pulled it off, I don't think I like that Solo. I like fun, happy-go-lucky Solo.
You like 4 and 5 Solo?
Yeah, I do.
He is one of the best parts of 4. Stand by that.
Yeah.
One of the best parts.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, other highlights? Is that it? That's your only highlights? Not Ewoks?
No, I
Okay, so are you one of the folks? I can't be that mad, right? Because I didn't have the tease, but I will say I think it was probably the first. This was the sign that Star Wars was not going to go in the direction that a lot of the fans wanted it to. But with Jedi, originally the idea was that it was going to take place on Kashyyyk, and not Ewoks, but Wookiees were going to be like the big force that helps take out the Empire. And then they decided that was going to be too scary. Like Wookiees fight with their hands, right? They're going to be like picking up and like breaking stormtroopers, ripping off arms.
so
like
it's cool when teddy bears do it.
So he wanted something that his children could enjoy. Like famously, that was Lucas's decision why you got Ewoks, is because he wanted something that his children could get behind a little bit more, and so they did Ewoks. And while they've tried their best to justify Ewoks, like, no, all their weapons have this severe toxin, and that's why it kills stormtroopers. Ewoks are just kind of a hard pill to... As a kid, you're like, fuck yeah, bro, the Care Bears help these motherfuckers and everything's better. and that shit works, right? As an adult, you're like, this was who came to help them?
Yeah.
Stormtroopers are a little derpy falling for some of this shit, but... okay, that a lot of the people who were like upset at some of the decisions in 7, 8, 9, and even 1, 2, like Jar Jar. I don't like Jar Jar. I'm not defending Jar Jar, but people are like throwing this childish nonsense into Star Wars. Bro, what were Ewoks? Like that you're not seeing bikers throwing Ewok faces on there. Bikers aren't appealing to anybody, or Ewoks aren't appealing to anybody who isn't 10. It's they were aiming it towards kids. It's what it is.
I don't I don't even throw a tantrum for fucking Jar Jar Binks, even though I hated him a lot more this go round. His
Oh,
dialogue does not hold back.
oh, honestly though, what's better is that they actually make everything Jar Jar's fault though, so you have an emotional reason to hate him and
Yeah.
not just an aesthetic reason to hate him.
That is kind of funny. He ruins everything. He literally brings down the galaxy.
It is 100% his fault that he's like the tiebreaker who comes in. He gets
Yeah.
Jar Jar to do it.
Yeah. So, oh, Jar Jar ruins everything. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like Ewoks. I think
Do you hate it, or it's just you're just like that's kind of dumb?
I'm not. I don't hate any of it, especially because I've always been willing to admit that the new trilogy has a lot of the old trilogy in it, and I'm like, yeah, they've done this stupid shit before. This isn't something to be mad at.
Right.
But
I don't know what Star Wars you watched, but it wasn't whatever you've built up in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Star Wars they gave you is kind of a rehash of the Star Wars you've already had. It's just an update. That's
Yep.
all kind of it is.
Yep.
So I don't know. I rate this. This one's a tough one because it's an emotional rating, but I definitely rate this above.
Hey, it's your rating. You give it what you want.
Yeah, like from the original trilogy, just admitting how good the movies are. It's 5, 4, and 6. Like
Yes. Top to bottom, 5, 4, 6.
yeah.
Yes, that is exactly what my rating would be.
But to
Take
be
that,
fair,
Eduardo's
on which ones I enjoy the most, I probably enjoy Jedi the most, then Empire, and then New Hope.
Okay, so movie wise, you would rate what I would actually probably assume is pretty common answer. 5, 4, 6. But emotionally, if you're putting them on, if you're deciding the watch
Yeah.
order, for you, it's literally just reverse order. 6, 5, 4.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
I like
by
starting
that.
with some happiness.
That's fair. Yeah, for me, I think I'm the traditional rating for it. I do like it, but it is a little dumb. I love that in the original great trilogy that is untouchable and perfect, and Disney has ruined it with all of their stupid repeating bullshit. Bro, they already gave you the Death Star twice, and then people were like, they
Yeah.
brought back Palpatine. This is bro, they brought back the Death Star. Like,
It's just bigger.
it was dumb then. It's kind of dumb still, but
and
it's
that's why
fine.
like I wasn't pissed off about Starkiller Base.
Yes. So no, it's just the Death Star again. Yeah. So was the Death Star the second time.
It's literally just a bigger Death Star.
It's
No,
Yeah.
I get it.
well,
I was annoyed,
mostly
but
it was
I'm over
mostly
it.
this was a financial decision, which I back. They were like, they blew that thing up, but a big chunk of it's fine. We could just build off of that, and they were like, yeah, just you got some pieces, bro. Weld them together. Empire being fiscally responsible for the budget of the galaxy, which remember, they are the established government. That's taxpayer money fucking building that thing. Go Empire.
That's like
So
that,
no, hey,
that argument about all the contractors that got killed on the Death Star.
they were just guys taking jobs, bro.
Yeah.
No, so again, I like 6. It's probably the worst of them because it did the exact same thing people are complaining about in new movies. It kind of had a repeating villain that we had already seen. It inserted this child-friendly nonsense in the Ewoks, and the ending, your big bad guy's just a softie for his son at the end of the day. Which, he was like the ultimate badass, and all it took was just like, you're hurting him. Stop that. And then he kind of fucking flipped. He's like, it's cool when we're
okay.
converting him. It's not cool when you hit him. That's
So-
I can hit my kids. You can't hit my kids.
Yeah, so here's the thing that I would say that because I was actually just thinking of that while watching it. I honestly think it's the fact that he found out that Leia was alive.
Okay, yeah.
Like I think that there towards the end, because I was like, what makes him change his fucking mind? Because I know how this ends. I don't remember what changes his fucking mind. So I'm watching it and I'm like, he doesn't seem to soften up until after he finds out about Leia.
Yeah. He's
And
like,
I don't-
true, damn it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was intended, but it thematically feels okay.
Yeah.
So there's that, and honestly, though, this was a trilogy. It's okay that it was the same villain. Like, you don't. There were three chapters of the same story, versus a lot of the number one, number two nowadays, where it's just like, oh no, this is these people on a new adventure.
Yeah.
This is an actual trilogy,
Right.
right?
So just we're at because I want to make sure we have time for 7 because I actually have lots to say about 7.
All
Surprise! Right. I have a lot to say about something. But yeah, so that was my big thing is I actually just found rewatching 6. A lot of the things people don't like about the new movies are very present in 6, which arguably again it is the lowest rated of them, but it's still a beloved film. So I don't get the level of people have towards the new ones. It's okay. You can not like what you don't like. Maybe just check your level of hatred and maybe recheck out the source material, because if you haven't watched it in a few years, you probably should rewatch those movies. There's a lot to not like, but it is still really good, and there is still a lot to like. Like, I do love the end fight scene, Palpatine kind of getting to flex with that Force lightning. You know, if you're watching it the first time, that's some shit you never seen. You knew folks could, like, throw shit with their mind and levitate. You never saw a motherfucker throw lightning. That's some shit.
Well,
you know?
And now that we're shifting into 7, I just gotta say, on that vein, Force powers, wow, they've changed.
So, here's what I will say. I still hold that 7 is probably in my top 3. If I'm ranking my top 3 Star Wars movies, it's 5, 4, 7. I think 7's better than 6. And that's because of the optimism I had coming into 7. I think what 7 set up is amazing. Now, 8 and 9 did not land that ship gracefully. Fucking landing gears got stuck. They hit some wind pockets along the way, and that motherfucker scooted across its belly on the landing strip. But that does not take away from 7. 7 didn't do 8 and 9. 7 did 7. Looking at 7 as that movie, I love the concepts and ideas it set up and how it pushed the Force. One of the big problems people had is they were like, oh, Rey can pick up a lightsaber the first time and go toe-to-toe with Kylo Ren, and how is she so good with the Force when she just picks it up? Well, the Force was always varied. There were different masters with different specialties in the Force, and the way the Force flows through people is different. And here's what I will also add. Go back and watch 1, 2, and 3. The first Force ghost is Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's the first motherfucker to do that shit.
Correct.
So, when Luke starts his shit up, Obi-Wan ain't a Force ghost, Yoda ain't a Force ghost. It's just Qui-Gon inside the Force, acting through the Force. It doesn't have a motivation yet. It's just an energy. By the time Rey becomes a Jedi, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin is fucking in there. Qui-Gon is in there, and the minor spoiler for when we get to 9, I think Ahsoka is also dead by 9. We'll get into it once you watch 9. Watch 9 with subtitles on, please. If you can stand it, please watch 9 with subtitles on, and I think you will catch what I'm talking about.
I usually watch everything with subtitles now because I'm deaf as fuck.
Same. Same. But yeah, so personally, and again, this is all fan theory, like most of Star Wars is. Most of shit comes from Legends, which is only barely canon anyways. So allow me to put my spin. But I think a lot of this coincidental stuff, a lot of the reason 7 and 4 are so similar in structure is sort of because of these figures acting through the Force. They're driving it. They're actively working to manipulate the world around these guys to be a certain thing.
So, to be fair, it sounds like the thematically where we're turning, and I understand where you're coming from. I read some of these theories and stuff, but it sounds like this is the story of the beginning of the of Force deities, because you had avatars of the Force in the past, and technically 9, I think 9, the dark side has been using a version of this for a long time.
Okay.
The embodiment of all the Sith that Palpatine is.
Oh, yes. How all the Sith live on within him.
Correct.
Yes.
So, I just think that they were trying to do the Force is trying to balance itself. So it allowed Qui-Gon to become one with it versus him necessarily breaking through, and so on and so forth.
The way they present it is more he discovers the technique for doing it.
Yeah.
Which, and again, it's the same kind of thing. Sort of the light side had this window that just hadn't been discovered, where the dark side is constantly poking and prodding and found that shit earlier.
Yeah, so I will say that I think my challenge... we're talking about 7 now, right?
Talking about 7.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Wait, can I do one more thing for 7 before I let you run? Because I discovered a new thing that I thought I hated and I actually love once I rewatched it this time.
Okay, go on.
Kylo. A lot of people really shit on Kylo Ren, Darth Temper Tantrum, whatever. First of all, he's not a Darth. He's not a master. He is still an apprentice. That's why he's a Knight of Ren and not Darth something.
Yep.
He is not a master. But the one that made everything click, Kylo is actually the perfect dark side user. 100% his behavior is how every dark side member should act. And the bit that clued me into it, there's a bit where he gets shot in the side, and then for the rest of the movie, he keeps punching himself in his side.
Yep.
And the first couple times I was like, that's just such a weird character quirk, and then it fucking clicked this time.
Yeah.
Pain is one of the avenues to the dark side. He's ramping up his power. He's feeding his hate. He's feeding his rage. He's slamming himself into pain to wash himself in the dark side. All of these angry outbursts and shit, yes, he's giving into the anger flowing through him to become more in tuned with the dark side because the light is constantly pulling at him. He has to constantly wash himself in the dark to achieve his goals. Once that fucking clicked, dude, I was like, oh shit, no, that's honestly better. Like, Vader was just a dick. This dude is fundamentally fucked, and that's what the dark side wants. It wants you broken. Well, and he's aiming to become that.
Whether I like it or not, the reasoning that they gave for him to have turned, I get it. Like, thematically, I get it. I don't like it.
Are you talking about the twist in 8 or the twist in 9? Because it is a double twisty.
The twist in 8, well, the story that they tell about Skywalker and Kylo.
Yeah. So it's more that there's a further twist. Because remember, in 9, he shows up and he's like, Snoke did this and that. And Palpatine goes, it's always been me. Every voice in your head, Vader, Snoke, any voice you've heard in your head has always been me. So really the whole time it was Palpatine pushing shit through him. It's one of the opening lines of 9 that I also kind of fucking missed because we'll get to 9.
Well, I remember him saying that, but I thought he just meant the connection, the times that Kylo and Rey had a connection.
No, because then he flat out does it. He goes into Snoke's voice, into Vader's voice, and into... There was a... can't remember who the third voice, but he does the 3 voices in Kylo's head.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair
so
enough.
I kind of... Again, I didn't get it that first time either, but rewatching it, no, it's very literal. All of the voices in his head have always just been Palpatine from the beginning.
Okay, so
we'll get more into it when we do 9, but honestly, I actually think the Emperor from 4, 5, and 6 is not the Emperor, it's a clone body. I'm pretty sure it's a puppet.
They've already said that.
Oh, is it for sure? Because they hint at it in 9, but they don't flat out say it.
Pretty much, like, it's pretty much accepted that Palpatine or the Emperor is not, like, Senator Palpatine is not the same as the Palpatine we saw.
Well, yeah, because one is Darth Sidious,
correct,
and one is Sheev Palpatine. Yes, those are the same guy, but it's not the same guy.
No, and honestly, it sounds like the story is probably that Palpatine has lived a really, really, really long time, but he always takes possession of new clone bodies.
Yes,
except. Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, but that's
a whole thing.
So again, I think in summation, I think what Seven set up was actually really cool. I liked the direction they were taking Rey and Poe. I like the First Order. I like Kylo Ren. I think it really just opened up some cool possibilities to play with shit that the next two movies dropped the ball. But much like I separate the artist from his art, I kind of separate each of these into their own movie. What Seven sets up, sure, the next movie's failed, but that doesn't affect Seven. It still did this great setup for me.
Okay.
I would go. It's a 4.5. It's really good in my book. 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I will say that I do like it. I liked it better watching it this time. I I think honestly I like everything around Ray. Nothing bad about the actress. I think she did a good job. It's just she's a really good mechanic. She's a really good pilot. She's a really good force user. All without any of the setup. At least for Skywalker, they set up that he had been piloting and that his father was a good pilot.
They could have done some more to like maybe show a workshop where she'd been tinkering with some shit.
Yeah, stuff like that. Because just because you scrap a thing doesn't mean you understand how it works.
Sure.
Right. So I will say that just that as an example, I wish they would have just explained a little bit more of why she's so good. The Force stuff, we can just write off. Yeah, it's the Force.
Yeah, I mean, explain fucking miracles or whatever else too. You know, like it's the Force. Why is the Force stronger with her?
Yeah, like why is
Cause
she a good
magic.
Why is she a good fighter? Because she beats the shit out of people with her staff. Like, where'd that come from? Those more practical things, like, tell me about them. I don't hate that she has them and that she can do them. She's basically a superhero, just like most of the Jedi.
Right.
But
let's flesh it out more.
So that's probably what I would say would benefit from the most. Harrison Ford feels a little tired in this one.
I think he was pretty much done with the scene. Honestly, I would not at all be shocked to find out that he requested that Han Solo die.
I'm pretty sure that was a thing. I'm pretty sure it was in the news.
Yeah, it's would not surprise me in the least.
Yeah, I just feel like if this is the way you go out, maybe commit a little bit more because he was one of my favorite parts of especially on the rewatch, one of my favorite parts of the original trilogy.
Get to 9 because they do a sort of mirror of that same scene that I actually think came off as very sweet and charming.
Okay.
Just wait. Yeah, and I'm not downplaying what you said, though. That is one of the scenes that I love the light play in, the back and forth of the red and blue, kind of taking more frame throughout the conversation as his tides change. Loved that. Loved it. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Although I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like
we've both agreed that we like 7, and now we really want to talk about 8 and 9.
yeah, that. Well, no, but even for 7, some of the choices I probably wouldn't agree with. By God, Kylo is so fucking powerful in the Force. Yes. This is the first time you've seen a Force user not only stop a bolt midair.
Yes.
And not just your normal bolt. Like, this is a heavy blaster bolt.
Yeah.
Keep it suspended over a period of time while he goes and does something else. This is Emperor level power.
Yeah.
Where his consciousness is only quasi aware of what it's doing over there while he's doing other stuff here. Wow.
Chat's behind you too, stopping the bolt. Yeah. I remember even when I first saw that, I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
Like he don't give a shit, bro.
Like it was crazy because one thing I noticed about the original trilogy is Luke struggles a lot. Like him, even in Jedi, when he's at the he's not the peak. He was always at the peak in Legends, but his peak of power on screen, like to lift 3PO, he had to close his eyes and relax his body.
Yeah.
Like nowhere near how in the prequels they just threw shit around.
I would personally chalk that up to Kylo again washing himself in the dark side. He's full tilt. He's in.
Yeah, but
I still don't love his saber. Like it.
I don't get it. I don't understand the
It's
point.
dumb.
I don't understand the
It's a
point. That's
little
all.
dumb, but you know, how many different lightsaber models can you really make? You got to give people something. You know what I
There,
mean?
there are quite a few if you look at the like the encyclopedia.
Yeah, well, and exactly, but like we've made a bunch. They had to try something. You
They
know,
should have
they
given
can't they
him.
can't all
They
land.
should have given him a whip and a short saber. I think would have been great.
I don't agree, but okay.
I don't know. I think they were trying to go for the broadsword thing, but
Yeah, it's
because
exactly what it was supposed to
Knights
feel like a
of
heavy sword kind of. Because also, if you look, he's not doing spinny, flippy tricks. He's all hammers. He is
yeah,
just trying to overpower you with his
which is a
strikes.
very Vader move too, because Vader
Yes.
wasn't very flippy anymore. Because
Yeah, he dropped all that. He was just gonna overpower you. And
yeah.
that's very much what this was.
So yeah, no, I get it. I definitely liked it more. I will say that there's just I do think Ray is probably the weakest. I like Poe.
You know what's funny is the internet's like totally against you on this. Apparently, the internet hates Poe. I didn't know this until recently, but like I
Oh,
found threads of people like that fucker ruined Star Wars. Poe is the worst part of the whole because they announced that his characters might be coming back for Ahsoka or one of the other ones,
okay.
and now that they're like he fucking ruined it. He's the worst.
No,
Yeah,
he's
I
not.
thought Poe was. I liked Poe, Finn, and Ray. They were all great.
Honestly, to be fair, I really feel bad because I felt they set up Finn really well for some really good shit,
And then didn't pay
and
it
they
off.
didn't pay it off.
Yeah,
Like I really liked some of the scenes between Finn and Ray, where like especially like he's trying to be overprotective and she goes like, "Bitch, I know more than you."
right.
I thought that was fun. I thought that was well done. Um, as opposed to fuck 8. So in 8 they try to do the same thing, but it was so in your face and preachy that it was goddamn bullshit. They had already done it right. Like
And I had also felt like clearly her and Finn had like a thing for each other, and from 7 on I kept going, she's going to fall in love with him. Luke's going to say no because Jedi aren't allowed to be in relationships, and she's going to go like it's still the power of love message,
yeah,
right? She goes like, well then fuck the Jedi. These are my people. I fucking love this dude. Love is what's gonna fuel my shit. And
yep,
then like it's not the Jedi anymore. It's a light side force user.
yep.
But they didn't do that. They
I
didn't
still
do
I
it.
still think the whole Grey Jedi, which once we finish the entire review, we're gonna go into that like
Oh yeah.
hardcore.
The rumor, I think really the hope of fans is that the Ahsoka show is going to go into Grey
Well,
Jedi.
I keep hearing these rumors that they're basically gonna pretend that this new trilogy didn't happen.
They I can basically shoot that down with the last season of Mandalorian they just did alone.
Okay, so this trilogy did happen,
Yes, 100% this trilogy happened.
but isn't Mandalorian set before this trilogy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's well, have you finished season 2 yet or no?
No, I haven't. I finished season 1. I haven't even started 2.
Oh. It's like a spoiler that's not a spoiler.
Okay.
Do you want me to say it? I can just not.
I mean, what do you mean a spoiler that's not a spoiler?
It's one of those scenes where you go, "Oh damn," but it's not a plot point. It's just some shit that's in the background where you go, "Oh,
Okay, sure.
there are Snokes in jars." They go to a
Oh,
clone facility where there's just straight up Snokes in a jar. So it
it happens.
happens.
Okay,
It happens.
fair enough.
And honestly, I love all the people who are like, fucking reshoot 7, 8, 9. Fucking reshoot 1, 2, 3. Fuck you. That shit's way worse.
I do feel like 1, 2, and 3 need a reboot. I'm just saying.
Though, and again, I was sitting there when I was rewatching, I was like, how would I restructure this? And then every time I tried, I was like, but wait, that fucks up Clone Wars. Clone Wars feeds Mandalorian. It's all too ingrained. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
We've like the shit. We might ignore 7, 8, and 9. I don't think they're gonna pretend like it didn't happen. I just think we're not gonna touch on that timeline too much anymore. You might get things that come out of it or things that go into it, but I don't think we're ever gonna go like what Rogue did. Rogue is really part of 4, 5, 6, right? It
Yeah.
attaches directly. We're not gonna get anything like that for 7, 8, and
I
9.
kind of hope not either.
I
Like,
mean, it's done. We're
I
all done.
and I also don't want to know anymore.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Like the original trilogy left me with a lot of questions. This just left me with a lot of disappointment.
Rogue was a surprise because
Rogue
really
was.
we didn't need more
No.
4, 5, and 6, and they found a way to make it work.
Rogue did
But
what Solo meant to do.
and I was just and Solo failed to do that. We don't need more attachments. We need more Mandalorian. We need more Ahsoka. We need more new stories, which sounds like from that list we read not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like that's what they're doing. Is they're going like the thing that you and I have been saying for years. You know, it's a whole galaxy. There's probably several other interesting things happening that have nothing to do with Skywalkers, nothing to do with Solos, don't even take place in this time period. There's other shit
Also,
happening.
you know that after this trilogy, the galaxy is basically gonna be like crumbled and lawless.
I mean, for a while, yeah.
They wrecked the capital of this government.
Yeah. And whole planets are gone, which I'm pretty sure throws off orbital rotations.
Yeah.
So,
Well, to be fair, they took
there's
out
gonna
the
be
entire
problems.
system, so you don't got to worry about any orbital rotations.
Well, that's fair.
So-
Yeah, no. So you know, there's there's gonna be some fucking shakeups.
All
But
right.
honestly, I walked out of that going like, you know what doesn't need to come back? The Jedi or the Republic. They all failed. Make a new thing. Be better.
Yeah, I the problem with the Republic is that it just never made any fucking sense. It always sounded like it was more bureaucracy, and I know this because the original not original trilogy, the prequel trilogy showed us painstakingly every single fucking time politics. But anyways, all right. On that note, give it a rating real quick.
Oh no, for 7 I did. Yeah, that's another 4.5. I rated above 6. I'd give 6 a solid like 4, where 7 I go 4.5 right with 4 and 5. Did I say okay? Hold on. 5, 4, 7. That's my top 3. All of those share. Well, actually, 5 is probably a 5 out of 5. 4
Yeah.
and 7 are a 4.5 out of 5, and then 6 is a
I don't know. I'm one of those weird guys where I feel like this is probably just as good as 4.
okay.
So like they just kind of sit next to each other on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and again, 4's real good. That's what started the whole everything.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So next week, hopefully Eduardo can finish everything he needs to finish, and we can close out with 8 and 9, which
Yep.
I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to say about 8 and 9. I think.
Yeah,
because
I think so
they're
too.
both and again. Come into them straight, like you're finding you like 7 more. Come into them straight, because even 8, which I still really don't like, I would put it down with the prequels. And they're like maybe even one of the prequels is better than 8. It's not the worst one, but it's pretty low. I even walked away going, oh man, they actually tried to set some shit up right here. That didn't pay off, unfortunately, but they made the attempt to set some shit up right here.
All right, and we'll talk about that next week. On that note, check us out Mondays, 7 to 8 on N5D Podcast on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Podbean. Every other Thursday, we had Bias Bros that goes live. That's Bonsai and his brother talking lists and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tuesdays we have Multiplayer Night, which is going to be shifting for a little while. In a couple of months, in a couple of weeks. I will be taking some time to go do some other creative endeavors, and I believe there will be a stream to cover, but more information next week on that. Yep, and the chat is going Tuesday because they join us to play video games on twitch.tv/Metagame Network.
Which I guess I'm taking over in a couple weeks. It's going to be Bonsai's stream, and none of you will be happy with it. Yay!
Yay! All right, on that note, final words.
I'm going to ruin everything.
Yay! Bye.